Now, iHeartMedia presents the Dave Rickards Podcast.
The Dave Rickards Podcast.
I finished.
No.
Baby. Like a hero.
Walk on through the darkness.
Well, welcome to another Dave Rickards Podcast, everybody, and welcome to Loft 100 Studios here, where Sully has invited us once again to get together and talk about what's going on. Loft100studios.com is our website. And I want to say hi to everybody who is working our show here today. Jared Coleman's our executive producer. Christy Castillo, I'm going to have this girl jumping today. She's going to show us a lot of videos that we've selected, and our hearts are with Christy as her fiance has gone up to fight fires. And he's not even a fireman. They just took him or whatever.
Hey, he's a baker. I don't know.
Yes, he makes madeleines in the oven. No, he's a firefighter here in San Diego, and he's been called up to L.A. Jason Banks is our floor director, and Miles and Christian and Curtis, the whole crew is here at Loft100Studios.com. And before we get into it,
okay,
and we're going to get into it.
Yes.
And it's not going to be good.
Uh-oh.
So I thought we would start with something good. Let's watch something good.
Okay.
To put us in a good mood.
Okay.
These guys, I would sleep with these guys.
Yep.
There's no wonder panties spring off
Yep.
for these guys. And by the way,
That one's so bad.
I say guys, and these definitely could be women, but that's a guy. There's no way that's a chick, and that's probably a girl right there.
Yeah,
but
easy one.
These people are unbelievable with their skills.
I would say every orify I have is available to them because of what they are doing.
Look at that direct hit.
Yeah, I'm in awe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty damn impressive what they're doing. Thank God for them.
Right.
Because that's as good as it gets right there.
And before we get into Los Angeles, we had a massive fire in our area back in October. Halloween, actually.
College fire.
The college fire,
yeah.
And just watching firefighters go about it like we go about getting up, showering, going to work. And they're just like, expression doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go in and do this. But we had drops in our canyons too.
Did it look as badass as the videos?
No, because it wasn't quite the terrain that, Los Angeles, Topanga Canyon, all the canyons up there have, but just precise, pinpoint.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, are you an F-14 pilot, an ex-Navy pilot, or Marine, or Air Force? Because it's like, oh shit, yeah, it's kind of like combat. Let's go. Let's go do this. They really are.
Well, as of last night, the current death toll is 24. Damage estimate is 250 billion times the amount of money in the entire world.
Yep.
This is the kind of disaster that politicians should be drooling over. No one wants a disaster, but this is an opportunity to show I'm a leader. And you remember these politicians, they want these jobs. They desperately want these jobs. They spend an obscene amount of money campaigning to get the job. They tell us all that they are the best person for the job.
Right.
So let's not feel bad for any politician who finds themselves in the hot seat right now in a difficult position. Because honestly, I got to tell you, any politician who stands up right now in front of the cameras and says, Mother Nature's stronger than us, we're overwhelmed, what do you want? I couldn't argue with that. I couldn't argue with it. Mm-hmm. But that's not what they did. Ugh. So let's start with our parade of politicians. Let's go right to the tippy top. The tippy toppiest of them all, our President Joe Biden, who was holding a press conference last Wednesday. 3 fires at the moment were exploding out of control. Here's our president.
Yesterday, their home was probably burned down. Today, parents are maybe still standing, I'm not sure. But the good news is, I'm a great grandfather as of today. I have a granddaughter.
So many reasons we're going to miss the big guy,
Yeah.
Did you notice all the sycophants around him? Like, oh, I'll clap for you too.
Yeah.
It's beyond me why none of them has the presence of mind, or maybe it's the guts, to stand up and go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Get out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If I can quote some John McClane to you.
Yeah.
Get out of the way.
Yep.
Dwayne.
What are we doing with this guy? I still think it's plenty of time for him to just like step out.
Yeah.
Step down. You're not up to the job. And to sit here at this event and go, but the good news is, me in my life, I'm a great grandfather. How does this happen?
So I was watching the news,
Right?
and I heard like he was delayed in doing that appearance because he was waiting for the grandchild to be born, and then once the grandchild was born, and I was like, wait, what? Hold on. Then I looked and I heard it, and I'm like, I didn't just hear what I heard.
Yeah.
And it was like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
By the way, what are the people around you doing to allow you to even, you have 2 weeks left.
And they clap. They all golf clap.
Oh my God.
They all got suckered into his little insane orbit.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I think the good news is, as far as the great-grandchild is that now Dr. Jill Biden can change Joe and the baby at the same time, side by side. So there's the positive. I know that sometimes when you have a podcast or you have free reign to curse, it gets gratuitous after a while if every other word's an F-bomb or whatnot. But I have spent, how long have these fires been burning? 9 days?
It's a week.
It's a week now. Mm-hmm. I have spent the last week dropping F-bombs, C-bombs, GD bombs, MF. Every time I look at the TV and I see a press conference or I see one of our great leaders stand up and talk, it is just filth that comes out of my mouth. That's how angry I am.
Yeah.
And that was one of the...
It was ridiculous.
Oh, we got lots more to enjoy. This is our blooper reel. This is our state of California blooper reel. It's supposed to make, it's one of those things where it's like, can you laugh in the time of tragedy? I don't know what else you can do at this point.
Yeah.
But Joe was there, and he was pointing out that his granddaughter, Naomi, had just given birth to a 10-pound baby. Oof. No word on whether that chunker pushing through the bush is what caused it. I don't think that's confirmed. But the president, with that jolly news, merrily went on his way without answering any questions.
Sure.
I just had a grandchild, and I'm on my way. So long.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Good luck, yeah. How about our governor? Should we move next? I would think in hierarchy, this biggest state in the union, governor of California.
Right.
President, vice president, maybe Speaker of the House. Governor of California is a pretty powerful politician. And this is the guy, I got to tell you, a few months ago, I was like, there's your savior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Democrat Party. That's the guy who you should have been running, not Kamala Harris. That's the guy.
Yeah.
And now all these careers have been wiped out.
Yep.
Just all gone. The governor, and he was there right away. Points for that. Came down right away and went after the job. And the good thing is that he's tight with the president, so he can call him up at any time. And as he was moving off to the van to go to wherever he was going next, he was chased down by a lady in Los Angeles who wanted desperately to talk to her public servant, as she should be allowed.
Right.
And she stopped the governor in mid-phone call to the president. Let's watch that reel.
All the loss and destruction, a distraught mother whose daughter's school burned down encountered Governor Newsom during a visit to the Palisades.
And it was caught on tape, and this video aired on Sky News.
You got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Okay.
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it.
I'm literally talking to the president right now. Can I hear the phone call?
Yeah.
Well, It turns out I'm not literally talking to him right now. I don't believe you, and nor should you, madam, because you caught him flat-footed in a lie, right?
Yeah.
You know, do we know the difference between literally and not literally?
Yeah.
I literally know the difference between literally and not.
Yeah.
So here he is telling this woman, I'm talking to the president right now, and God bless her. She goes, I don't believe you.
Good.
And he said, I think I heard him say, so tell me what you want me to tell the president to help you and your daughter. I don't believe you. Yeah. Well, it turns out I'm not. And I know that this woman is now your hero.
Oh, yeah. God bless her. When I saw that video, I was like, this woman has balls of steel. She is just like, good for her. To just her presence of mind during the whole conversation. And I think she's an attorney, so she's used to that back and forth. I'm
lying?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. And I'm
criminals.
Sure, but I'm sure she's used to the back and forth. So I don't think I would have had the balls to be as composed in the situation as she was.
She wasn't starstruck by standing in front of the governor saying, I don't believe you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I love she turns to the security. I'm not going to touch him.
Yeah.
Like, hey, easy.
She was composed. She
Super
really was.
composed.
Yeah.
The oil slick that Gavin Newsom leaves behind everywhere he goes makes the Exxon Valdez accident shrink.
Yeah.
He's pretty slippery.
So slippery. And
pretty slippery character.
Again, swear words. It's the only thing that with my Neanderthal brain and Cro-Magnon, it's the only thing I can think of. But I can't even say it on the podcast because it's such bad karma, but it's adding new squares to my 2025 bingo card. And one of them is Gavin Newsom, because I think people have frickin' had it.
Well,
it's French Revolutionary style. We're just going to pull you out in the street and chop your frickin' head off because we are done.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, like you said, this fire has been career suicide for him and for the mayor. And I will say, when you brought that up a few months ago, or, about he's your savior, I'm one of those Democrats that is like, not me. And you can play the tape.
Roll it.
But there's always been something about it. The elitist thing I'm just not down with. I just how can you govern people when you can't relate to them? And what I appreciate, I wonder what he was feeling in that moment with that woman just going after him and attacking him. And he was trying to be very slick, as you say, but that camera was right in his face, and he knew it, and he did not know. He wasn't coming up with the lies quick enough.
What do you want me to do? Help you and your daughter.
So I'm down with everything you've just said there about Newsom, but how do you account for this entire state voting for this guy in a landslide every time? It's not even close.
Yeah.
No one else even gets a sniff at the job.
Yep.
Californians vote for this guy. I mean, you have this ability to see through.
Yeah.
Why does the rest of the state not?
Well, I think in the last election, I honestly don't even remember who the Republican candidate was that went up against him.
Well, it's I think he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire who is now saying, we all saw that this was coming. We all saw the mismanagement that was happening. And by the way, I have a giant mall over here, and I hired private firefighters to protect my mall, and there it is, standing amongst all the rubble. And it's true. I don't even know the fella's name.
He ran for mayor against Bass and lost.
Oh, it was the mayor.
That's who
I
that
beg your pardon,
is.
not the governor,
Right.
the mayor.
I know that when there was the recall, Larry Elder, the radio show host, the African-American gentleman who's regularly on Fox, is friends with Trump. He was one of the people that was running to replace Gavin Newsom. I have, again, karma being what it is, and I'm a firm believer in it, but at some point, Californians who are Democrats have to wake up and say, you get what you voted for.
Yeah, but
you don't.
Not saying that they deserve to have their houses burnt down.
Right.
but you voted for this level of incompetence.
Yes.
But again, I go back to what is the Republican Party putting up against him for someone like me who's not really voting for a party to vote to change my vote?
I don't know if you can, unless this is what shifts it back to being somewhat of a purple state, because people are, and Republicans are the same way. Just here, Republican, Democrat. I don't care. I'm voting because I can't stand the other party.
Well, that's the president. That's the governor. Next up, let's hear from the mayor. No doubt she'll have help for the desperate and dying in this crisis. Let's watch the mayor.
Right now, if you need help, emergency information, resources, and shelter is available. All of this can be found at URL.
How about you
right now,
are
if you
stupid?
Need help,
You are stupid. You are far too stupid to be the mayor of Los Angeles. If you don't understand the internet, if you can't handle a website, you're out. I don't care. You're out. Take a hike. Bring in literally anybody to replace this idiot at this point. In fact, I think there was an episode of Green Acres where Arnold Ziffel, the pig, was elected mayor of Hooterville. And this would be a huge improvement over this idiot.
She basically Ron Burgundy it. Go fuck yourself, Los Angeles.
I mean, you want your politicians. I mean, I am not a guy who wants to depend on my government. I'm not. I want, if I got problems in my house, it's on me. I'm the provider in my house. I want my government to fix the streets, make sure the hydrants work, kind of things like that, infrastructure, things like that. But that's about, and war. It looks like a lot of bullets in there. I'm staying out. Yeah. I want them to handle things like that, and I want them to do a good job. Now, you say whatever you want about Rudy Giuliani, and there's a lot to say about Rudy Giuliani, but you go back to 9/11, that guy was a fucking rock star, and so was George Bush on 9/11.
Yeah.
Yep. They went in, they made people feel good, they reassured us that they were on the job.
Yep.
Did it that day.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't want to, I don't know if you're planning on showing it or not, but when.
Don't do it.
Okay.
I'm going to show it.
Okay.
Don't jump ahead.
Again, it's the self-assassinated political careers of our leaders that have, the last 9 days have shown us exactly how frickin' incompetent they really are.
So bad. Yeah. I mean, it's so bad that they literally would have been better if they stood still and acted like statues.
Yeah.
Let's watch this reel.
Citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning. Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
Oh my God.
Believe it or not, that was her best moment. Standing still and acting like a deaf mute was her best moment. That's it. It all went downhill from there. I mean, that woman was met at the airport. And by the way, when Karen Bass ran for president, desperately wanted the job, spent all the money, told us all that she was the best for the job. One of her campaign promises, for whatever reason, was, I won't leave the country. I will not leave the country. I may travel to New York, I may go to Kansas, but I will not leave the country. 5 times. She's been out of the country in the last year, 5 times.
Unbelievable.
Been off to Paris 3 times, went to Mexico for something. I think it was the president in Mexico City. And of course, this critical trip to Ghana.
Of course, David.
To see that action going on. So.
Unbelievable.
Somebody took that exact clip, and every time the reporter, and God bless the reporter, and I don't know what platform, if it was Sky News they were with or whatever.
I think that's right.
Is it? Okay. Because the media from other parts of the world are like, you guys are so soft. You're so afraid that. I goes, I'm asking the question, but somebody edited a smoke alarm, the chirp when it goes off. He would ask a question and she would just look down. You hear the
That is brilliant.
It was so.
That is brilliant.
So brilliant. And of course, she has played the race card because she's a black woman.
Karen has?
Yeah, that's why people are so upset with her.
She has or other people have on her behalf?
Oh, no, well, whatever the social media
Well, they
is,
aren't doing anything without her orders, without her orders.
So,
It's what is the animal that they freeze and then they kill over when they're being attacked? That's what she reminds me. Yeah,
play dead.
Yeah, that's what she reminds me.
There's also narcoleptic pygmy goats that will run, and then fall.
I think you're right. She's playing possum.
Yeah.
But that was her best moment.
Yeah.
Because she didn't say anything.
Yeah.
She's just not capable.
No,
she's not capable.
You're capable when it's the Academy Awards and you're at the governor's ball and you're cutting the ribbon to kick off the frickin' Olympic Games, or you're riding in the car for the Rose Bowl. That's when you're capable. But when the shit hits the fan, it hit like it has in Los Angeles.
Are we showing more of her?
More to come. But first,
I've got a lot to say.
First, we're going to go back to President Joe.
Okay.
President Joe decided to dig into the dry hydrant crisis. You heard about this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, we still have people on the news media, who want to defend their Democrat leaders. And I saw this news anchor on TV during the crisis, and he came back and he said, there's absolutely no evidence that the hydrants have run dry, because people were talking about dry hydrants.
Mm-hmm.
And, he wanted to defend his city politicians and whatnot. There's no evidence that those hydrants have run dry. Let's go out onto the street. And the reporter is like, the firefighters have just told me that the hydrants are dry. This dude got fact-checked by his own reporter. Bang, right there.
KTLA, I think his name is like Warren Albert or something like that. And, just a pretty talking head.
Yeah.
And exactly how you just described it. And it was within 5 seconds. And she's got embers blowing across.
Right.
Oh,
she was in the fight.
She goes, oh yeah, this fireperson just told me there's no water in the hydrants.
She was standing in front of a burning house.
Yes.
And she said they have to watch it burn because they have no water.
Oh,
this one's done.
God, it's like
back to you, Bob.
Yeah, it is like Anchorman happening in real life.
It is.
It has just been an unbelievable, colossal symphony of boobs running this situation. And I'm going to sidetrack for a second here. You see the people in the media, like the women on The View in particular, who want to defend these big shots of the Democrat Party. And I have two things to say about that. One, pick a fight that you can win. Two, pick a fight that matters.
Yeah.
Okay? The Democrat Party, even if you think the Democrat Party is dead and done, nothing's dead and done. They're down. There's no question about that. They're down.
Right.
But they're not dead and done. But there's no defending it. When these people came out and they said, wow, you mean they watched the presidential debate and I had no idea that Joe was incapable. Well, where have you been? And now you see all this boobery and tomfoolery and mismanagement. And you're like, wow. You're telling me we don't have any water because that fish thing is. Where have you been?
The Delta smelt.
How is it possible that you have been doing this for so many years, and now why do you want to continue to defend it? It's unwinnable, and it's a stupid fight.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid fight. Go back to your corner, collect yourself, reorganize, come back. I want you to.
Yeah.
I want good choices.
Right.
Yep.
When it's time for me to select my politicians, my leaders, I don't go one party. Oh, that's it. That's all I care about. I want the best people.
Yes.
I want the best people.
Same.
God.
And I want lots of choices. And I don't care if you're Libertarian, Democrat, Republican. I don't care. I don't care if you're lesbian, homosexual, male, female, black, all this DEI shit. When is the rest of the world going to wake up and say, we don't care? We want competent people.
Yes.
That's all that matters. And we're going to dig into that in a little bit too. But the White House, as soon as, I didn't show you the president.
Right.
Who is digging into the dry hydrants. I haven't shown you this yet. Yeah. So he rolled up his sleeves and wants to know why these fire hydrants aren't pumping water. Let's watch this reel.
That there's also been a water shortage. The fact is, the utilities understandably shut off power because they're worried the lines that they carried energy were going to be blown down and spark additional fires. But the Cal Fire, when it did that, it cut off the ability to generate pumping the water. That's what caused the lack of water in these hydrants.
Okay.
And so Cal Fire is bringing in generators to get these pumps up and working again so that there's no longer a shortage of water coming out of these hydrants. What I know from talking...
Okay, so he can't make that up. He cannot make that up. Hey, we had to shut off high-tension wires, because they fall down, they start fires. Yep. I live in this world. Yeah. Okay? Right now, we're under high wind warning as we speak. I'm getting the texting, the emails, the phone calls from San Diego Gas and Electric. Hey, we're going to turn off the power at your house for the billionth time.
Preemptive.
This happens all the time here in Southern California, okay?
Yep.
So for the president to say they shut off the power to the pumps, that's why the hydrants didn't run. Okay, that makes sense to me. He didn't make that up. But the White House Department of, oops, that's not what Joe meant to say, immediately went to work and say, no, that wasn't the cause of the problem. And I'm like, you guys are fighting over which fuck-up you're going to stand for?
Yeah.
Which mistake was it? And so they immediately stood up and said, no, that wasn't the problem. And I'm like, that sounds like a credible, legitimate problem to me.
Okay, so I hate to put you both on the spot, and I could have done my homework knowing that we were probably going to talk about this on the episode of the Dave Rickards podcast today. You take the, that whatever it is, the cap off of a fire hydrant, right? Water's going to come out, no?
Yeah.
Likely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fire trucks are also pumping trucks. That's why you'll see them hook a hose up to the fire hydrant, to the rig itself, and then the fire hose is, all right, here comes your water, and you see them go, and they start spraying. So what pump is involved with water coming from underground pipes to the hydrant? I thought the water is always there. You just have to pump it, literally pump it out of the hydrant at full force to get it on a fire.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. I'm not a fireman. I'm asking a question, and I hate to put you both on the spot if you don't know.
Well, I don't like to give answers to things I don't know anything about either.
Okay.
I do know this. So in 2007 here in San Diego, we had a terrible, terrible fire.
Yep.
And my neighborhood burned down. And my house burned. And the answer is there aren't enough. Anything. Mm-hmm. There aren't enough firefighters. There aren't enough planes dropping fire retardant. There aren't enough fire trucks. It's overwhelming. Right. And any politician who stands up and says, we're overwhelmed, we just don't have enough, I believe it.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things that will center you and remind you, Mother Nature is undefeated.
Yep.
Anytime she wants to remind you that it's not even close,
right,
a situation like this happens.
Right.
And I accept it.
Yeah.
I'm not one of these silly people who goes, well, there's got to be, there isn't.
Yeah.
Okay? There isn't. And even President-elect Trump, who wants to mow the forest, that's a neat idea, but it's completely unrealistic. We cannot possibly maintain the forests the way he's talking about to keep them from burning down.
Right.
That's just foolish.
Right. I think, to me, when he was saying it, it didn't make sense to me. We'll use radio as an example, right? Power goes down, we have a backup generator. Wouldn't that be the same for the pumping stations?
You'd think.
Why would you shut down, not have 3 backups?
Fail-safes.
For if that really truly was what happened.
True.
Kick on the backup.
Because you're on your own. I can tell you, SDG&E, when they send me the power's coming off warning, they tell you, sorry if you need electricity to run the ventilator that keeps you alive. Good luck, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on your own. Yeah. Get your own generator. Make your own preparations. Go to URL. We provided everything for you at URL.
I tried it and I couldn't get on for some reason.
The food ration or the dehydrated food emergency food people, was it My Patriot Supply? They sell a solar-powered generator where you literally just stick that frickin' thing up, the solar panel, and it gives you emergency power. And I've seen them at work. They're 100% legit. Do you have?
They're also very
super expensive. Yeah, you're right. Do you have a pool?
Yeah.
Okay. I am currently shopping and will soon be investing in the pool fire hose.
Yeah.
And it literally is a Honda generator with I think an 1.5 inch uptake hose that you stick in the pool, throws it into the pump, and then you have an old school canvas fire hose. I think you can get 75 feet, 100 feet. But I've seen anybody who has a pool in Southern California.
Yeah.
And they're expensive. They're like $1,200, and I get it. Not everyone has that bandwidth to purchase one. But if you don't have something like that in a fire area.
But that's something that you should, okay, so where I live in Point Loma, the city has this thing where if you're in the fly zone or for the airplanes, you get windows basically installed in your house for free.
Yeah.
So, and air conditioning. So why wouldn't you do that if you lived in a fire zone area with pool? Why wouldn't the city,
Yeah, exactly.
do that so it helps protect?
And if someone was smart, they would, I hate to say, well, hey, listen, jump on this opportunity of so much sorrow and anguish and destruction, but if you were smart and you were that fire hose company, or you were, hey, we realize, this is blah, 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 blah for the future, here's a deal, or, that type of thing for neighborhoods.
Like most all organizations, the LA Fire Department had to make some budget cuts. They had to do it. And the mayor slashed the LA Fire Department by about $18 million. Now, you may wonder, I know that they're hiring some pretty expensive executives at the LA Fire Department. I've seen the salaries, I've seen the people, I've seen the titles, I know what they're doing. In fact, here's one critical hire. Her name's Christine Larson. Let's watch her video.
See somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or, you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Pretty rough response from the assistant fire chief. You got yourself into this fire, drag yourself out.
Oh my God.
Can I ask?
Looks awfully smoky in there. I don't think I want to go in there, but that's what $307,000 is going to get you. That's $307,000 worth of hoses and Dalmatians that the LA Fire Department is not going to get because that woman is in charge specifically of DEI.
Can I just make an observation from that video? This is such bullshit. She literally just said, hire someone like me so we can have empathy. So when we show up, you feel comfortable. Next sentence. If your husband was in the fire, asshole got himself in a place he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I'm not a betting man, but I would fathom a guess that close to probably, 100% of people don't give a flying flip what you look like when your house is a frickin' marshmallow roast. I just want to see the hard hat.
Yep.
The flame retardant jacket. I want the boots, and I want the person saying, I'm here to help you. And I don't care if they're 5 foot nothing or like her, they're 6 foot, 500 pounds.
And yet somehow the LA Fire Department made that video. The crew, and it's always more than one person who approves a video to be released, they all looked at it and said, yup, thumbs up. I like that message of, you got yourself into a fire, too fucking bad for you, pal.
Yeah.
They all signed off on that and said, that's a good video, let's release that to the public. It's mind-boggling. If you saw one of these that we've been watching today, you'd go, that is beyond reasonably stupid. There's reasonable stupid.
Yeah.
Which is why we're here today.
Yeah.
But there's unreasonably stupid. And every one of these has been unreasonably stupid. Put them all into one crisis, and it's a fucking joke. I mean, I used to say that on my radio show. You want Pink Floyd? Come down here and play it yourself. What am I, your public servant? She's a public servant. Paid $300,000.
Amazing.
Telling you what?
Yeah.
What, you got a fire?
Yeah.
And by the way,
I don't want anything to do with that.
You're right about the production crew, because I guarantee you the production crew made 2-3 times the amount that they charge for a regular client, because government contracts are the most lucrative.
Again, it's all the sycophants just going,
yeah.
This is so great.
And you know, we've known this forever. When you have a private sector versus the government, the private sector is going to do a better job. They're going to do it for less money. They're in the business of being in business, which the government is not. You know, there's no fire under their ass to make money.
No.
They're given money.
Yeah.
And that's why I saved the best for last.
Oh, I can't wait.
And this is the one that, again, I have personal experience with. And this is the one that I'm convinced there's something criminal going on here. The overreach of government. And it's the insurance commissioner for the state of California.
Oh.
Now, Ricardo Lara is this guy's name. And all the insurance companies in California, which is the largest insurance market in America, California, all the insurance companies have been calling up Ricardo Lara and say, we need to increase our rates, because when these fires happen and houses burn down, it's too much for us to pay. So allow us, please, Commissioner, to raise our rates. We're not going to gouge people, but we got to be competitive. And the insurance commissioner says, I am here to protect the Californians. These people have bills to pay. You cannot raise your rates. Now, he has the power to do that. Prohibit these companies from raising their rates to a spot that makes it possible for them to be in business. So they said no. And the insurance company said, if you don't, we're going to have to go out of business. And he said, do it. Deuces, go out of business.
Yep.
And so they did. All of them. Allstate, State Farm, Nationwide, Farmers, you name it. The list is long.
Right.
They all packed up and left the state of California. And I can tell you that when my State Farm agent called me in June of last year, and I've been with this guy for 20 years, and he saw me through the fires in 2007, he said, I hate this. This isn't what we want. We're not an evil company. I know you see all the stuff, oh, fuck State Farm, fuck. They don't want to go out of business. They want to be in business, but their hands are tied.
Yeah.
So what has happened here is the state of California has told the private sector, get lost, because we're going into the insurance business, which is exactly what the state of California did with a little program called the FAIR Plan.
Yep.
So all of us have the opportunity to buy fire insurance through the state of California, provided that your house is cheap. Now, here in California, the home of the most expensive real estate in the United States, I have about 60 to 70% coverage on my house. That's all you get, because they put a limit on it. Of course they do. So I'm only partially insured. So here come all these insurance companies to places like Pacific Palisades and Altadena, and 2 months ago they called them up and said, you're all canceled. Good luck.
Yeah.
Call Fair Plan. Or you can call Warren Buffett's insurance company, and fire insurance will cost you $150,000 a year.
Holy
No kidding.
cow.
I've done all this. I'm in this. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Tapping my microphone. So now the houses have burned down. Don't worry. The fire commissioner is on it. Late last week, he said, I'm undoing everything, and everybody's fire insurance is back in place, and the insurance companies have to rebuild your houses.
What?
Yep.
Oh.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Now, do you think the insurance companies are going to stand still for that?
Yeah, no. No. I'm literally on the phone. That literally doesn't make sense.
No.
Carl and Jimbo may be okay with mulligans on the golf course, but the fire insurance business is not. They canceled all these people because they had to go out of business. And now the fire insurance commissioner is saying you haven't been paying your premiums, you got canceled, you were given plenty of notice. We all got 90 days.
Yep.
You got plenty of notice to go find your own. Don't worry, I'm giving you a redo, a do-over, and these fire insurance companies are on the... The worst thing that could happen to these fire insurance companies, first of all, they'll fight it. You know what they'll do? They'll go bankrupt.
Totally.
They'll just go bankrupt, just like Pacific Gas did during the Paradise Fire. They'll just declare bankruptcy. So, here's where I want you to pay attention to what's going on.
Okay.
California Fair Plan, the name of the insurance company of the state of California, who's been selling insurance because they ran everyone out of business, they're on the hook to rebuild all these houses. Guess who pays for that? You?
Yep.
And you?
Yep.
And you. So for anybody who thinks, that's LA that's on fire, screw those guys, I don't care. Every taxpayer in the state of California is going to have to pay to rebuild these homes because the state of California kicked insurance out and built their own insurance company. Now that, I don't know how that's illegal, but I know it's illegal. I don't know what the word is, I don't know what the crime is, but I know that that is a government overreach and that's illegal.
Racketeering?
I don't know which one it is.
RICO violation?
Rico, see? Everyone's going to have to pay to rebuild these houses. Because of the mismanagement. So add the insurance commissioner to the entire colossal fuckfest that's been happening for the past week here and tell me who you're going to vote for.
Two questions, and I should have asked you right off the bat. Natural disaster or arson?
This fire?
Oh, if what we think?
This whole situation.
This fire, as it turns out, is leftover fireworks from New Year's Eve. They sent fireworks out. There was where the fire started in Pacific Palisades is right where they had a brush fire from fireworks. They put that fire out mostly. Then the Santa Ana winds came and stirred it up again, and here we are.
Okay.
Now, I don't know about the Eaton fire.
Hadn't heard that.
Yeah, that's news the last 24 hours.
Okay, because there's the video going around of the...
I think it's arson.
Oh, homeless men with flamethrowers?
I think it's arson.
I think some of them are arson.
Yeah.
Copycats.
Yeah.
Like okay. No, I was just
because
the
winds, they're so spread apart that it doesn't make sense that the Santa Anas would even make them start a new place. So I think the other ones are definitely.
I hadn't heard about the
arson.
fireworks, so
who even knows? Who even knows? What do you believe anymore these days?
No.
You know, this is why on this episode of our podcast, I didn't want to get into conjecture, rumors, conspiracy theories. All I wanted to talk about is what we know.
Facts, yeah.
What we know is so unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to know this stuff.
Could this, see, I'm starting to think in terms of, could this bankrupt California? I mean, this is going to, you just gave out $250 whatever billion.
My estimate was it is 250 billion times the amount of money in the world.
Because people, like my wife, you know, she says, that's so nice for Canada, Mexico, all these people that are donating service. I go, honey, we pay for what they're giving us. They're just giving us the manpower, the vehicles. That fuel that those planes, yeah, we're paying for that, et cetera, et cetera. And I just think in terms of all the overtime, triple overtime, quadruple overtime that all these firefighters, unless there's a cap at it, during an emergency, are going to have to be paid for what they're laying their lives on.
But right now, isn't this portion paid? Right now, I think the federal government's taking care of it at the moment, up to whatever 6 months was the.
Okay, so now that means that the other 49 states in our great union are going to join our sorrow and pay for this bad management.
And again, it goes back to there's the rest of the United States that is looking at like Malibu. Malibu, it does look like frickin' Gaza. Everybody, you're like, what? That's Los Angeles?
Yeah.
That's not the Middle East? There's a lot of people that are like, again, sorry, Hollywood elites, you know, type of thing. Again, no one deserves it to lose their house. No one deserves to
I think, and everybody has a right to live where they want to live.
100%.
So if you're living in Malibu and you can afford to live in Malibu, that's your right to do so.
But it's hard, as a buddy of mine back east told me, because, you know, it's really hard to feel sorry for you guys out there. You got perfect weather, perfect people, you're always tan, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, but there's neighborhoods that burnt down that mom and dad are both working a job to pay the mortgage and stuff like that. It's not
It's
just
not just a rich
actors' houses that burn down.
I know there's a little bit of extra, the TV show fascination with movie stars and stuff like that, but I'm sick of hearing the newscast. This was a $10 million, this was a $25 million. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care.
Right.
In fact, I care much more about the working people whose houses burned down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I'm not interested in hearing how much the house was. We know how much they were. It's someone's house that's burned down. And, when I saw this happen in my neighborhood, it's just really hard. It's rough. You don't get that stuff back.
You don't get it back, and the mental crater that it creates when you go through that, like you said, we got out with a bag of clothes. And we always say, oh, but you're not replaceable, but all your stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
It's super easy for me to say that to you as you're sitting there watching what you and your husband built is ashes. But I think about the photos, the videos, just all the house that you have experienced probably so much great joy in, be it a Christmas, a birthday, a birth, a party, gone.
Yeah.
Just literally gone.
Yeah.
And to me, a person trying to get their mind around that, I don't blame them if they go frickin' nuts for a little bit.
It's a hostile planet that we live on. Whew. I've lived a lot of places, and there's always something. My parents' house flooded twice in Illinois. A flood is no fun either.
Nope.
I mean, carrying the stuff out of my parents' basement after it flooded, it had 10 feet of water in the house.
Oy.
It is so gross and bad and smelly and
then the
disastrous.
mold.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's awful.
It is.
Blizzards are no fun. I've been in them.
Yep.
Droughts are no fun. We live in them. Tornadoes scare the shit out of me.
That is the
Hurricanes. It's a hostile planet.
Yeah.
So, we can cry all we want about, what do you have? There's something everywhere.
Exactly.
And you're going to have to live with it and take your chances and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we've got to have a better setup than what these people are doing for us here in California. This is just, too little too late.
Hopefully after this, we will.
So you texted me this week watching this all go down, saying, oh no, Dave, I'm thinking of moving to the dark side. The dark side. Explain to me what that means.
No, it was just like when I was watching the Biden clip about the granddaughter and then finding out that the mayor left and was coming back. And then what really got me were two things that we actually haven't talked about, which one was her getting up during a press conference saying, and we are going to, when the time is right, we are going to examine every process, every system, every individual. And I'm thinking, you're the individual. You're the one that you're going to be analyzing and looking at. Like, are you kidding me right now?
Or you haven't done this already? Now you're going to
start? Now you are. Like, then the second thing was with these pressers too. The accolades that they give to each other. Before they give, I'd like to thank the mayor. I'd like to thank the firefighters. Move on. This is your job. You have one job. Yeah. So it's just all the bullshit. I'm not going to the dark side, just so you know. But I am going to I'm not a fan of the mayor. Biden, you have just a couple more days. Zip it. Just frigging zip it. And Newsom?
But he's not.
He's
not, and he's making it. Sure, it's difficult. It's difficult not to get really pessimistic and look at him going, "Are you really trying to fuck things up at the end here and make things difficult for the next president?"
I think so.
Do you believe that he is?
I think he's trying to make it actually not difficult for the next president. I think he's making it difficult for the party.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. So you really think the president is sabotaging the country right now in his last few days?
I think he doesn't know what he's doing, and I think he's being directed by his wife, who has a lot of anger in her right now.
I think that the puppet masters, like letting the terrorists are the ones with the Al-Qaeda ties out of Guantanamo Bay. I was like, really? What? Listen, I've talked to them. They've seen the error of their ways. They're ready to be good little boys and girls. That is the shit. Then I'm like, okay, whoever's pulling the strings or putting his 2 AA batteries in every morning to make him function, what are you doing to our country?
I know people want to hang their hat on the pardon that he gave to his son. And what does that do for us? Nothing. That has no effect on us.
Right.
All it does is cement that the president is a liar. He's not a man of honor. Yep. That's unfortunate. You know,
it is unfortunate.
That kind of sucks.
Thank God Trump is.
Oh, God.
Well, that's another thing.
A whole other Oprah.
So here's another thing. People will say, oh, he's a felon, because now he has actually been determined to be a felon, and so we'll have a felon in the White House. And so people will come to you and go, what about the president? Your guy's a felon. It's like, yeah, and he beat your guy.
Yeah.
That's
what does that say?
Bad the situation is that a convicted felon, I'm sorry, did I say beat? Smashed your candidate. Yeah. So we are in a weird, ugly situation. Can it be corrected?
I think it can, and I look at 2 things. I look at Trump and Obama at Carter's funeral, sitting there kind of joking, whatever they were talking about.
They were getting along.
Probably Obama was like, fuck, you kicked her ass, man. I don't know what he said.
Did you see the lip sync things that they have?
It's so great.
They're so funny.
Great. But the fact that, wait a second, you two publicly are shitting in your own hands and throwing at each other, yet here you're sitting in church going, hey, you know, blah, 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 blah. And the fact that Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, just sent all these resources, et cetera, to California, and Newsom thanked him, hey, thank you, Governor Abbott, for, you know, there's no political lines here, we're all blah, blah, blah in this together. I don't know. There's glimpses of hope that are out there. You just got to look for them. And I freely admit, I'm the one who goes right to the worst place, the darkest place, you know me, Mr. Pound of Flesh. I go right there.
Yeah.
Well, then let's do that. Let's finish this podcast with a glimpse of hope.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you right back to where we started.
All those beautiful Republican pilots.
Oh, my God.
Doing their thing. Of course, the retardant is red.
Yeah.
Look at that guy.
I love that one. That one's my favorite.
Right here. Not a drop on the other guys, but boom, fires out.
Man.
Look at that.
It just... God bless him. Absolutely, God bless him.
You've been listening to the Dave Rickards Podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes to come.
To reach Dave for comments or suggestions for future podcast topics, email him at daverickards@iheartmedia.com. That's DAVERICKARDS@iheartmedia.com.
The Dave